Guys, the Justice League review for the trailer is here. It's us. We're back. You've probably seen a bunch of videos, but we're going to also talk about it.
Because we're the best.
Yeah,
we are the absolute greatest. That's all it is.
Just because somebody else talked about it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it.
Exactly, because they're not as good. So.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, we're just starting up, but whatever. But we're going to break it down. We're going to discuss some things that stood out to us. We're going to speculate, and so let's get right into it.
Okay, I'm gonna start just by saying, first and foremost, wow on the trailer, dude. Like Warner Brothers, bravo. Like honestly, amazing job. Yes, exactly. But let's go into it, man. We start out with what looks like a bank robbery. Can't really read too much into it yet, but we just hear gunshots. A guy with a briefcase walking around, and then who enters the room? Is it Batman? No. Is it Superman?
No. Not a bird or a plane.
No, it is a Wonder Woman, bro. Wonder Woman leads the charge in this trailer. And I just thought that spoke volumes, like, on how Warner reacted to that movie. You know what I mean?
Because we see Wonder Woman first, and I think to discuss all the reshoots that's been going on, again, reshoots are natural, but in the reshoots, putting her at the forefront, especially with the success that Wonder Woman's been having and kind of the shift in tone of the DCEU. And so I think it's almost as if they're not only giving fan service, but they're basically saying, yes, this is who you see first.
Yes.
She is leading the charge.
Exactly. This is who you like. This is who we're going to give you. You know what I mean?
I think they learned something from the last trailers. I think we got to give them credit for as much crap as we give them for trying to play catch up and everything. That's obviously not easy, but they definitely learned something. Yeah. And their trailers have significantly gotten better since the massive outcry of the one and the reaction for Batman.
For the third BVS trailer. Yeah.
Where they revealed too much. I mean, if they would have just left Wonder Woman to be revealed in the movie, not in the trailer, and really just saved a lot more, it would have been a lot better. So in this trailer, I think they might have learned that. I mean, there are some people who think that maybe the trailer gave away too much, and I know you feel as though that's not the case.
Yeah, I've been hearing that people say, we got way too much in this trailer, and I'm like, well, let's backtrack for a second. What did we get in the trailer that we didn't either A, knew was coming, or B, kind of assumed was coming? Right, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I really didn't see anything that I didn't already expect. It was, to me, this trailer did such a good job of just presenting the things that I already knew in an amazing way. You know what I mean? And it got me hyped for the movie, man. I'm excited.
You make a good point. Because even when I watched it, I think I might have been part of that group where I was like, okay, this is really good. There's a lot going on. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. But there's a lot going on. But then after you brought that point up when we were discussing it earlier, it made sense. Nothing in there that was in there wasn't anything that we don't know. And the stuff that's in there that we don't know are the things we're going to discuss and speculate about, and it pushes the door open for so much more speculation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we see Wonder Woman, and then after that, it cuts to a scene where I guess her assistant, she's cleaning a statue, and her assistant's like, "So, did you do anything interesting this weekend or whatever?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing."
And the most calm voice like ever, dude. Like,
nothing interesting. And so you see that they're putting these little comedic moments, these little comedic timings, and these beats are in there, and it's throughout the trailer.
Oh, absolutely.
Each one has a role.
And you know what I like too is that it's throughout the trailer. But one of my biggest takeaways from the first Avengers movie, not saying it's not great for all you fanboys, but one of my biggest takeaways is that some of the jokes and some of the comedic moments that happened felt a little forced. You know what I mean? For example, the first time that what's his name, that Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man see each other, the first thing that happmes is that Iron Man makes a joke about Thor's cape, and they, just little things like that were unnecessary, kind of bothered me. But I like that in this trailer, every like little comedic moment that happened, it wasn't too much, and it just kind of happened naturally. You know what I mean? I really appreciated that.
Right. And so then, we go forward, and we see after that, the world is mourning Superman's death. Apparently, they're still feeling the loss of such a massive presence. Like you see the whole universe is shifting the tone, whereas before they were questioning whether or not they needed this God, this godlike figure, if you will. Now they're saying, you see the shift in of his absence, and the world really wanting him, or really potentially mourning him, or really feeling his absence, if you will. And I thought that was interesting, because that seems to be the setup of this entire movie to begin with. This is going to be what sets the events of the movie going forward, and we learned that from the ending of Batman v Superman.
And I'll tell you what I liked about that is the fact that when you watch Batman v Superman, a large portion of Metropolis was not for Superman.
No.
When he goes, there's a point where he goes to the White House and there's people in the crowd going, "No aliens, go home," all this stuff.
Right.
And then, fast forward to now, he's gone, and it's like you said, there's people mourning his death, like, oh my God, we needed this guy here. Like, and I love that he went from this guy that people repulsed to what he's supposed to be, and this guy who inspires and provides hope. And I think even Batman at one point touches on it. He says, Superman showed us the best in ourselves. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, that was just like,
there seems to be a lot of theological great. And even religious themes in here that have been there from the beginning with Superman. With him floating off and saying, only you could save them. There's a lot of correlations to Superman and Jesus that they don't make direct, but if you don't catch it, you're a nut. Like, and so you see that the presence of this savior-like individual no longer being there. The world feels that absence, and so it's just funny. It shows the fickle nature of the everyday human that these people are fighting for. So then it goes on and it says that crime is up, that there's no Batman, and it's like, where is the Batman, vigilante or whatever?
It's like all this stuff,
and you just see like this massive
on the gargoyle.
On the gargoyle. Can we just stop and appreciate that shot for a second? I mean, look at that shot. That shot is awesome. Like, do you see that? He looks like a boss. And again, anybody who disputes that this is the best Batman ever, come see me personally, because this Batman is by far the best.
In addition to that scene, if you pay attention to like, it sounds like there's either a radio or like news in the background. You hear them mention two things. Number one, Lex Luthor, which obviously we knew, was in this thing. But if you keep listening, they also bring up Arkham Asylum. And I thought that was real cool because now we know like Arkham Asylum exists in this universe.
As if we didn't know that before.
Exactly.
But they make it a point. Like this.
Exactly.
Trailers are purposeful.
Yes.
So they made it a point to put it in there. So you have to ask why. Are we going to see a glimpse of maybe a Batman villain?
Batman's rogues gallery pretty much all chills in Arkham Asylum. So it's like
Batman has by far the best rogues gallery in the DC comics.
Arguably in comics.
Arguably in comics.
Another conversation.
But Spider-Man. But we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. And so then we cut and we see this beautiful shot, and they bring what we know to be Themyscira. And so we didn't know if we were going to see it again.
And that's what I love because, yes, absolutely. Because when Wonder Woman came out, one of my favorite things about that movie was the fact that, they pulled off Themyscira so amazingly.
The world building was phenomenal.
Amazingly. With the Amazons, them with the bow and arrows and doing the moves off the horse was all great. I remember watching this, and my one thing was like, damn, I wish that this world had a place in the future.
And here we are. And it's a big place because to skip to later, we know that we see a bunch of Amazons riding into battle. So they're involved in this. But going back, we see that they're housing a mother box.
Yes.
And a mother box, for those who don't know, is that thing that the villain is coming to take. And the mother box,
they use it to like transport
right. And there's a few of them apparently,
yeah.
And these are being collected almost like the Infinity Stones. Right. We're not going to get into that, but they're being collected, and as this is going on, there's voiceover. But before we get into the voiceover, we see our first glimpse of what we can pretty safely assume to be
the main villain,
the main villain, which is
Steppenwolf.
And so when I first saw Steppenwolf, the very critical part of me stepped out for a second because the CGI didn't look finished. But listen, they're still probably editing it. They're definitely still in the post-production stage, so there's nothing to worry about. But that took me out for a quick second, and then I was right back in when I saw them talking, and he was like, there are no protectors left. And then you go on and you see Aquaman swimming, and Aquaman is doing what he's doing, and then he
looking like a beast,
looking like a monster, like a boss on the water. Yes. And then it says there are no more lanterns, and then we see Cyborg for the first time, and then he says there are no more Kryptonians, and we see Bruce Wayne, Batman, looking at a hologram of sorts of Superman.
Yeah, it was like a red cape or something. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah,
the boots and everything. We know it's Superman. I wonder what it is that he's looking at and why he's looking at that video. Is he trying to get inspiration? Not important, but let's go back one phrase. No lanterns. Hold that thought because I find that to be extremely interesting. But anyways, it goes on, says no Kryptonians, no protectors. this world will fall like all the others have, or something like that. And so the voiceover we assume is Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
But we technically have never. We don't really ever see him. So it might not be. I mean, it's safe to say it's Steppenwolf.
It's safe to assume. I think it'd be cool if it was maybe Darkseid telling Steppenwolf. You know what I mean? Like, hey, go conquer this place. There's no lanterns, no Kryptonians. Like, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But again, that's all assumption right now. That's all assumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
or
then
speculation.
moving forward, it says moving forward we see now there's that dialogue is happening. At the very end of that dialogue, or at the end of that voiceover, you see Batman staring, or Bruce Wayne with Alfred staring at something, and then Alfred says, "One misses the days where one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins."
Very obvious tip of the hat to the penguin right there. Like that was, yeah. I thought that was dope. I love that they added that. So
it's pretty cool that,
especially since that's a villain that, like, at least in recent years we haven't really seen at all. It's a villain that people sometimes say is a little too comic booky for the movie. So I love that they threw him in there, man. I thought that was good. Yeah,
I think they can bring him in.
I think pulled off right like they did in the Arkham games, it'd be amazing.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, and then then it goes on and it says, honestly, I think we're gonna die. Aquaman makes his phrase, and you wrote that down. I guess that stood out to you because
it's just I think this guy Jason Momoa, man, like his comedic timing is just perfect with this character.
He's like
bro.
the Drax of this, or
a
like
little
the
bit,
Thor
yeah,
of this.
yeah.
Like their humor is not intentional, but when he says what he says,
exactly,
it seems like
it's like even
funny.
in the trailer before this, when he sees Batman in the suit for the first time, he's like, just like a bat. I dig it. You know what I mean? Like I love that. I'm like, dude, this guy's timing is amazing. And again, I just love that. I feel like Warner Brothers saw that this was a character that, got made fun of a lot, that was the punching bag for a lot of jokes. Yeah. So they remixed him and made him look like this badass, bro. Right. And I think it's going to work well, man. It's going to work real well for them, for sure.
I agree. I think this is the end of making fun of
Aquaman. Yeah, no, they stopped in 2017. Aquaman jokes stopped this year. Yeah, absolutely. No
And then, so then after that, we get we see some battle scenes are about to take place, and then the Flash is like, I've never done battle. I just push people and run. And we get the comedic Flash that most people are looking forward to.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the Flash that some people want. Some people wanted a different Flash. This is Barry Allen, but
this is Barry Allen. He, in my personal opinion, he acts more like a Wally West because Wally West is more comedic than Barry. But either way, I dug it. I thought it was real cool. And I just like that in the world of you have these 6 like really serious, or 5, excuse me, really serious characters. You have this one who's kind of young, kind of getting started. You know what I mean? I thought that's good. I think that's going to work really well with the rest of the chemistry of the team for sure.
Right, and then one of my favorite scenes in this is when now Cyborg he's actually hacking into the computer, and he's like, "All right, Alfred, I'll take it from here." And Jeremy Irons is like, "Have we met?" Like, I thought that was really cool because you need that techie one. I just thought it was very interesting. It wasn't needed; it served no purpose, but it was really cool that they put it.
And I'll tell you right now, man, some of the visuals for both these characters, Cyborg and Flash, were amazing. Cyborg, that one scene where he's hacking into the Batmobile and you see like all the wires and stuff coming out of his arm. I thought that was awesome.
Getting better.
It's definitely getting better.
CGI, they're still working
just because,
on it.
And the reason I like it so much is because that's something that easily could have been glossed over, but in the comics, it's literally how it is. Like you'll see his arm constantly that just become wires and stuff and hack something. Right. You know what I mean? So the fact that they're adding that in is amazing to me. Also, a little side note, that scene that you were I'm sorry, you were talking about a different scene, but later on in the trailer you see that scene where Flash is like, they just leave like that. You know what I mean? I love that.
Yeah.
And then
because you would think he'd be the one to
exactly
to
right.
leave.
Yeah, he's the Flash. He's the one that can do that. Right before he jets off, you see the Speed Force start to appear around him, and I love that because again, the comic book accuracy, bro. Like these people are paying attention to these characters, really man. And I thought I really dug that. And on top of the fact, he also had that one scene where he's poking through the glass, and the glass slowly shatters around him.
Right. So the glass thing, when he was doing the glass thing, when I first saw it in the trailer, I was like, oh, is this on some I thought it was. I didn't know what it was at first, and then it started breaking because it seemed like he was pushing through water, like in the Power Rangers.
Yeah, but
and
it was
like,
glass.
What's going on? Dimension traveling, and then I saw the glass breaking, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then they even did a really cool visual with the sword, and it Wonder Woman's trying to get the sword, he just pushes it really quickly
so lightly.
Yeah.
And that's something I always say about Flash is that in the real world, that this guy's really running that fast. All he has to do is kind of lightly tap you. So I feel like again they're paying attention and they're using that.
Just real life logic and everything. Okay, well we don't got much time left. Let's just now speculate on the one thing that was mentioned earlier, the ending shot. The ending shot, you see Alfred and he's like, he said you would come. and hopefully it's not too late, or whatever he says, it leaves it for the fans to automatically assume, is it Superman? Is this the Superman? Whether it's the blue suit or the black suit, is Superman back? But you brought up a good point, especially going to what we were saying earlier, because it mentions lanterns. So we know that lanterns are actually a part of this world. Lanterns exist. But you bring up a very fascinating point.
Okay, so, back when they announced that Green Lantern was getting his own movie, around the same time, they announced Steppenwolf was the main villain for this movie. Right. So right when those two announcements came, I kind of started to put puzzle pieces together in my head, and I just feel like it would make perfect sense if, they fight Steppenwolf, who's like the right-hand guy to Darkseid, you know what I mean? They beat him, and then the guy who's out there who knows about intergalactical stuff, you know what I mean, comes back to Earth and is like, yeah, you beat this guy, but you have no idea what's coming next, you know what I mean? That would be really Enter cool. Darkseid. And I think that would just be because the best way to set him up.
Because it would be stupid for them to give him away so soon, because we know that there's two. Why waste him in the first film, right? Yeah. Of course, there's going to be hints of him. They're going to talk about Darkseid, but
yeah. So I just personally, I feel like that could very well be the Green Lantern.
I think that's one of the biggest takeaways for me is like the little Easter eggs, like the little nods. But the one that they mentioned, like no lanterns. I mean, they've been playing with the audience and the fan base for a while with Armie Hammer joking around whether or not he's going to be it. So is Green Lantern going to be here? Is he not? Is that Superman? It's an obvious choice, but it could be a twist. It could be a mislead. So
it could be a black suit Superman, which would be dope.
But even then, that's expected. Yeah. So I think at this point, it's all a matter of speculation. And I'm with you. I think I would like to see a Green Lantern in this movie. Yeah. And I like that if they learn their lesson from the other trailer's not showing too much, maybe they're holding back some stuff to finally surprise on. Maybe they learned their lesson and really listen to the fans. And I think that'd be cool. I think the fans would love that they really heard us and said, hey, too much.
If Wonder Woman was any indication, these guys they're learning from their mistakes, man. I'll tell you right now, because Wonder Woman was a phenomenal movie, and we got a lot to look forward to for sure.
Well, what do you guys think? I mean, these are just points that stood out to us. We can speculate for hours. We can continue to watch these trailers over and over and continue to talk about new things that we see and pick it apart detail by detail. But obviously, that's not what the goal was for this video. We just wanted to throw some things out there. What do you guys think? Do you think it could be a Green Lantern? Do you think it is Superman?
Is it somebody else entirely?
Is it somebody else entirely? Do you like this trailer? Do you dislike it? Do you think they showed too much? Do you think they didn't show enough? Overall, your thoughts in the comments, leave them there. Please like, and as always, subscribe. Share it with your friends. Share it with your mom. Share it with your uncles, best friends, dogs, cousins, sister. Share it with everybody. Let's get let's build this channel some more. And thank you to those who have been joining us so far in the chat, being a part of the conversations. We're super grateful for that. And with that, I think until next time and until the next video,
y'all be easy.
We're out.